and you see that you got an email from them and it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could have acted differently on that. So if they're making the same mistake they were making last week, handing out free TONUs down here at HSD2, Lou and I are here for it. Man, getting this one going at 10:20 p.m. Heading down to HSD2 right this second. Kind of had this last minute load come up all of a sudden. I was originally planning to just start my night at 1. I was just at home goofing off with the family. We were watching TV, eating dinner, just having fun. And they dropped one of these HSD2 to SAN 3 loads that had an adjustable pickup time. So I bumped it back to 11, but I'm like, I gotta go now. I usually don't cut it this close, but I mean, it's got me getting there, I think, at like 10:50. I don't like cutting it that close, but I for sure will make it. There's no traffic at night. Interesting thing on this one, if you've been with me for a minute, I think it was like 2, 3, 4 videos ago, I did a video on Amazon handing out free TONUs at HSD2. I don't think that's what's gonna happen tonight. I think this one will go through because they only listed one. That time, that night that I had that happen to me, they listed like 12 of them. They just listed one. But the interesting thing about it to me is one of the adjustable pickup times, you could go back as late as have it start at 11:30. And I don't know if you've been with me for a minute, you remember that sign on the door at HSD2. It says the building goes dark every night between 11:30 and 12:30. And it's like, you would think they would correct that mistake. You would think that it's like, okay, you can't pick up, your scheduled arrival time can't be 11:30 because the building's dark. We're just gonna give out TONUs, but that was an option tonight. I didn't put it to 11:30 because I didn't want to have back-end problems. I got a load that starts up at DSD4 at 1:08, and I was just afraid that would give me back-end problems. So as long as I make it down there by 11, which I will, we're good to go and get this first load knocked out. I had something come up the other night, and I kind of glossed over it. It kind of made me, and after the fact, I started thinking about it. It's like, man, I really should have put that in a video. So I'm gonna take this time and put it in this one. I hate calling things pro tips because that implies that like I think of myself as a pro. I definitely don't think of myself as a pro. I think I'm good at what I do, but I'm learning just like everybody else, and I'm just as capable of making a mistake as anybody else. But the thing that came up, and my advice to you would be, if you're running loads for Amazon Relay, whatever email address you signed up for, you want to be sure that you're receiving emails to that from whatever mobile device or laptop or iPad, whatever that you keep in the truck. You want to be sure that you're receiving emails, and here's why. I mean, obviously for the obvious things of like looking for like spot capacity offers, that's great. That's just like, that's increasing the amount of money you can make. But as far as protecting the amount of money you make, I had something come up the other night. I was leaving SCA 7, and they had assigned me a trailer, and I went and I attached it to my truck through the app, just like you're supposed to, and I got no more than like 50 yards down the driveway at SCA 7, and I get one of these emails from Amazon Relays, and they're never worded nice. It's always like, you've got X amount of minutes before escalation, and then it says, what's the reason? And it's like, Stat Trucking has left SCA 7 without a trailer. And I'm thinking to myself, like, bullshit, like I got a trailer attached, it's attached in the app and everything. But what I did, because they sent me that, like, you know, you got a couple options. I could have just taken it to its destination, paid no attention to it. Personally, for me, that would be wrong, because I feel like they're giving you like a little bit of a heads up of like, hey, something might be funky with this load. So what I opted to do was, you know, get out, take a proof of life picture of the trailer attached to my truck, trailer number matches. I went to the trips, the in-transit trips, and I verified, and the trailer number that I had typed in, because I had to manually type it in, it matched the trailer number that was attached to my back. And then I added a load note where I acknowledge the email and I say, you know, yeah, this trailer is correct. It's showing up in the trips tab, and it's the same one I just typed in when I was leaving SCA 7. And it's just a good idea to acknowledge it. Now imagine you didn't receive that email. Let's say your Amazon emails are showing up at your home or office, and you get home that night after a night of trucking or after a day of trucking, whenever you decide to do it, and you see that you got an email from them, and it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could have acted differently on that. So that's my advice, is be sure whatever email address you're signed up for Amazon, that you're receiving updates from it from your mobile device with you at all times. So this is turning into a TONU. I have made the equipment available to Amazon. They are choosing to not use it. I have an 11:45 p.m. departure time, so I'm hoping the app just lets me take care of it. But now that I know, I mean, you can see their whole yard right now. Their whole yard, I'll kind of pan around here. There's not a lot of trailers here. So if they're making the same mistake they were making last week of handing out free TONUs down here at HSD2, Lou and I are here for it. Yeah, 11:45 is my departure, so I'm hoping I can take care of it in the app. May have to do a callback request from ROC to get that canceled, but the next thing I have coming up here at 11:08, got to keep track of all these things. At 11:08, I need to do that active refresh on the screen for my 108 load, guaranteeing the TONU if they do end up canceling it. But first load of the night looks like it's turning into a TONU. What do we do while we're waiting? Wait until 11:45 for our departure time to hit. We come out here and we walk Lou. That building you see behind me, that's HSD2. When you're waiting for a callback, or this is going to turn into a callback request, but you do want to stay in close enough, like kind of close proximity. Being across the street's not going to matter. You'd hate to like go home and then have them be like, well, hey, we did find a trailer for you, you know. So it just, I know some people might disagree with me on this. I always try to stay kind of close to the facility, just on the off chance that they do have a trailer, because technically I did sign up for a load that could leave as late as 11:45. So I'd hate for something to change, me start driving somewhere else only to find out I got to return back here. So anyway, we're just out here killing time with Lou. This is why we have a dog. Are you my TONU bulldog? I'm gonna change your middle name to Lou TONU Allen.
Yes, you will be provided with TONU.
Okay.
You'll get the cancellation fee.
Perfect. I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for your time and feedback. Have a good day.
All right. There's new questions. All right. So this one's canceled. It's 11:50. I gotta be at DSD4, which is like 27 miles from here, by 108. So that's where we're heading next. Here's a figure I think is important. I'm not bragging on the night at all. It's just the 3 loads. I think it's like $450, $500. They are local. But how much time of watching the load board did it take me to put tonight together? Probably about 2.5, 3 hours, letting that thing run in the background of my life. I don't want you to think that you just get on the load board and just, oh, there's a $6 a mile load. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. There's kind of a skill to stacking these and not making them overlap. And that kind of leads me into like another recommendation I would have for you, especially if you're just starting out. I still do it to this day. I have to write stuff down. I have to say that like, okay, I'm doing OTI at 1 o'clock, and then approximately around like 2:15 I'm going to be ending in Poway, and then I just kind of, that way I don't overlap anything, and I be sure I give myself enough time to get to places, because I'm a visual person. I have to see it. So if you're doing it on a piece of paper, get yourself a little whiteboard. It's kind of like you come up with your little war plan as far as how you're going to attack the night. But I definitely would recommend writing stuff down, so that way you end up getting to places on time, and you end up not overlapping any loads. All right, it's 1:20 a.m. I just finished up that first run from DSD4 down to San 3. No point in starting the other one. The other one's scheduled to start at 4. I'll do my swipe down at 2 o'clock. Be sure it's still in there, guarantee the TONU. And at 2 o'clock, I might start working on it right now. What am I doing right now? I got a very local load board running for just like looking for stuff around OTI. It would be ideal if they dropped a little HSD2 to San 3, San 5 to San 3. I could even do a DIB 5 or DIB 7, like shoot up the road real quick. But no matter what, I have to be available to be at DSD4 at 4 o'clock. So that's non-negotiable. So that's what I'm looking out for. I'm down here in 1 hour parking at my little Chevron. I prefer the Chevron. I know most truckers hang out at the Pilot. There's a lot less going on over here. I'm kind of a loner, and I kind of like to be just where it's kind of quiet and peaceful. But gonna go inside this Chevron, see what the coffee situation's looking like. All right, 2 a.m. Got some coffee. Feeling good. Just did the active refresh on my trips tab. That 4 a.m. load is still in there, so guaranteed the TONU. I went ahead and started it. Nothing else dropped. Heading up to DSD4 now. It will get me there ahead of schedule, but that's how I like to keep it. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, there are nights like tonight where there's not a lot going on with Amazon, and I'll tell you, on nights like this, they tighten up the purse strings on that relay bot like crazy. It is, I mean, there's some nights, they had one on there a second ago. I didn't screen record it because I didn't take it, but it was going up to Vista. They had it listed on the board for like $198, which, I mean, they'll send stuff around OTI and Chula Vista for $200. Like, why am I going to drive all the way to Vista for the same money? So, you know, I typically will get that to go up to like at least 300, sometimes 350, but they had it on the board for 198, and I said 350. And it kicks me back saying, like, you know, tell me why and all this kind of stuff, and I respond to it. But then it, rather than coming up to like 250, 275, which it normally will do on the first time, it's like, we can offer you 206. It's like, I'm not tripping out on the $8 increase. You just did that. They're like, does this work for you? No, absolutely not. And they're like, I'm sorry, 212 is our max. And I think that they put nights like this where I think when it's slow, I think they like to test carriers and see kind of like what will they take it for? What's their cheap? And I don't do it. I don't want to. I think the AI has like a memory, and I think that like once they get you to go to Vista on a, you know, for $212 on a night that's slow, I think in the future you're probably going to see around that 212 again. Being that it's a computer and it knows what you take it for, I have no doubt that it has a memory. I know back in the day with like the hostler shifts, I would work with guys who they would want it so bad that they would come in for like less than $100. They'd say like, oh, I'll do it for 90 or 80. This is back when they paid $100 an hour for it. All that did is just made it to where they never saw $100 an hour again. They just, you know, they thought that they would get more of them. I remember I was working with this guy for like 2 weeks, and every day I would show up and he's like, they took you again? I'm like, yep, they took me again. And he's like, that's crazy. They were taking both of us. They took him every day at 80. They took me every day at 100. And it just, and you know, he would then go in and say like, I'm going to try to ask for more. I'm going to ask for more. They wouldn't budge. They just wouldn't budge. So I kind of have that same feeling about the AI. I feel like it's testing me right now to see what's my lowest that I'll take it for, and I'm not going to play ball with it. All right, rolling in the gate of San 3 on the last leg of this, the last load I have booked currently. Got the little warning saying I'm going to get to San 3 139 minutes early. It's because every stop they anticipate you having to wait for a trailer. I haven't had to wait for a trailer, so it's time to find out if they'll take me this early. Let's find out. If they do take me, I am finishing this load 24 minutes before it's even supposed to start. Let's see if they'll take me. Just like that, they have me dropping in slip 408. Gonna go drop this off, clear this load out of my queue, and that's gonna make me suddenly an eligible driver. And eligible, not ineligible. It's kind of tricky to say sometimes. That's gonna make me an eligible driver. I might throw an hour at this and see if I can pick up lucky load number 4, but gonna go drop this off in slip 408 right now. So I think it's important to live by those stop losses you give yourself. I told myself 30 minutes, I threw 30 minutes at it. They're sending containers up to Moreno Valley for like $200, and if they're that low heading up there at this time of the morning, I doubt they're gonna drop anything that's gonna go my way or that I'm gonna be willing to take, so I'm calling it quits. I've been looking forward to this time of the year, fall, because my kids are back in school. They go to the same school now, and my daughter can drive, but wouldn't you know, they ended up on different blocks, so they have different start times. So I could say like, hey, tell my son, go to school with your sister, hang out in the library, and that's how you're gonna get there. But I know he appreciates it if I can come home and take him at his time. That way he's not just wasting time at school. So that's what I'm gonna do. Calling it quits here, gonna go home, maybe rest a little bit before I gotta take him, but it's a decent night. I mean, nothing to brag on, but, you know, again, try to stay as local as I can and try to keep this truck sipping on fuel as much as I can. But as always, appreciate you taking the trip with me. Hope this video serves you well. Take care.